Okay guys, so in this in, okay guys, so in this task we're going to be doing the malloc and free tasks. Okay, malloc simply means memory allocation. Okay, and free is to free that memory that you allocate. Okay, so we have these two functions. We have a malloc function, okay, which will help you allocate memory on the heap, and then the free function which helps you free that memory that you allocate. Okay, so basically in the programs you'll be doing, you'll just be writing bunch of code that you've written before in another dynamic way, and then you reserve memory for memories that you don't know how many space is going to take. You get, for things that you don't know how many space is going to take, you just allocate memory down, and then you write a code that helps it in a way calculate the amount of memory to allocate and stuff like that, and then you can free that memory once you are done using that memory. Okay, so that you can have enough space to use in your program. All right, so let's dive into it. I've done the first task, but I'm going to walk you through what I did, and then we'll go through the remaining task together. All right, so let's take a deep dive into it. So the first task says, okay, you have to go through this resource, and let me just go through the quiz. I think there's a quiz question there. All right, so this one says, what is a var grind? It's a program to validate memory allocation. Okay, so how many bytes does this statement take? We know that char takes 1 byte, right? So you're using malloc to, if you anything you put inside this guy will be allocated, right? So since char take 1 space, so 1 times 10 is 10. All right, and then we have this one malloc, we have this one char takes 1 space, 1 times 10 10 plus 1 11, so this one is 11. And then we have this one is just malloc 10, which is 10, right? And then we have this one for int is 4 bytes, 4 times 10 40. Okay, so unsigned it also is 4 bytes, so 4 times 2 8. Right, so int is 4, 4 times 4 16. All right, and that's all. So we are in the task now. So what I did is, let me go to my stuff and reload it, because it has been open like this for like 3 days. Okay, so it's gonna reload, and so I'll just move into the directory of the malloc. Let it open. Okay, it's still loading, so let me just give it time. All right, so I think it has finished loading. I hope it doesn't delay us. It has started again. Okay, ALX, this thing is hanging. All right, it is freezing, guys, so you have to bear with me. Okay, I don't know, it's freezing. Okay, and then I think it is OX, I can't remember. Let me just enter this one and list it. OXOP. Right, so we'll see the OXOP, yeah, and then we're there. So we're in the directory. So far what I did is I created a readme file. Every directory should have a readme file, right? Okay, so if you look at, if I do -a, you see I created a git ignore file. So the main.h, oh sorry, so the main.h, I added the prototype of the first one for this guy, right? You bring your main.h, so, and then let me quit it. All right, so let me vi.gitignore. Okay, so vi.gitignore, and then you would see that I wrote that it should not push to the main, and it should not push the executable file. I don't know why it's still loading. Okay, it's supposed to load. I don't know, maybe it's a network. Okay, it has load. So I said anything that ends with main.c, don't push it to GitHub, and then the executable file is called a. I told it not to push it as well. So yeah, I've put that one. So the next one is, we've talked about this is the executable file after executing it. So this is the main.c that you copy from this guy. Okay, this is the main.0 main.c, you copy it, and then this is the code. So let me go through the code for you, and then we'll go to the next task. Alright, alright, good. So what we did is, if you look at the question, it said that write a function that creates an array of characters. So this is a character C, right? And so it's going to create an array of characters, right? And then initializes it with a specific character. So we have the size here. All right, so it says that it should, this is a prototype, it should return null if size is 0. So this is like the size of the array, right? So we have an array with a particular size, right? And then it should be filled up with characters. You get, it should be initialized with a character, right? So you should return null if the size is 0. So if the size of the array is 0, you should say no, null. Okay, return a pointer to the array, or null if it fails. So if your memory allocation for this guy fails, you should return null, or if it passes, then you should return a pointer to the new, because a malloc is always stored in a, I think there's a pointer that points to the memory in which you allocate. Okay, so that's what malloc does, right? So a pointer actually points to where your allocation is being made. Okay, so if it is successful, you should point to that, your malloc should point to that, should return to that array, right? To that character. Okay, so if you go into the code, so what we had is not quite so much. Okay, so I created a size t. This size t, because I'm using my standard library, that's why I used size t for mine. And size t simply means unsigned integer, so you can replace this guy with unsigned integer. Okay, so I was just trying to familiarize myself with that other kind of variable. Okay, that's why I use size t to test it if it's going to work. But if you use unsigned int here, it should still work, because malloc itself accommodate size unsigned int, as you can see here. Okay, so this one too, I can replace it with size t, but because it's been given already, so that's why I didn't use it here, right? So I created a variable, a basket, like I used to call variable as baskets, right? Created it I, and then a pointer that will be pointing to the memory that we allocated, right? That we're going to allocate, right? So then I said if our size, okay, that if this size, we want to point to this string, right? If the size of the string is 0, it should return null. Okay, all right. So if not, then we want to allocate a size. So I want to allocate a memory for character based on the size of this thing, right? So we don't know the size, that's why we are allocating memory, because we cannot just create a basket that would save this guy, because this guy might be much based on the size of this guy, right? So we allocated a memory for this guy based on the size. Okay, so this one would now point, ptr will now be storing a bigger pointer to a basket of this memory, right? So it's pointing to this memory that we allocated. So this memory can then save this string, okay, that will be imputed by the user. Okay, so we then said if our pointer is null, it means that memory allocation wasn't successful, then it should return null. Okay, so that's what we did here. And then we said if, okay, and then we said for. So now this one is just to check if it's allocates. So this one is to actually, okay, probably it has allocated, right? So this one we now create a for loop to go through the um, string. So what we did is, we said an unsigned int I here, right? So that's when we used it. And then we said I equals to 0, right? So as long as I is less than size, so this I will go in the amount of size times, because I starts from 0. If we use I equals to 1, then we can use I is less than equal to size. Okay, so you can change it that way. All right, so and I said I plus plus, right? So we want to increase I, so we then do ptri. Okay, since I would go the amount of um, the in a particular length, right? So so for example, if size is 5, right? So we want this guy to go 5 times, right? So we are giving it the value of c 5 times. Okay, so it's going to create a string of c. So the content of c would be the same thing, because in the question it says that where is it? Write a function that creates an array of char and initialize it with a specific character. So it's a specific character that is initializing it with. So that character is being stored inside that sizes, right? So if it is 2 sides, it's being stored inside. So based on the number of size, so it's collect the amount of size and the character you want to put. So if it is 98, it will save the character 98 times into this guy, and then that's all, and then it will return the pointer to where it is being saved. You get. So let's go through the main.c and see what is done there. So if we go to the main.c, you will see that let's see. Okay, you see that when they call the function, I'm looking out for where you see they passed in 98 and they passed in age here. Okay, so 98 is the amount and then age is the stuff, right? So like that, but they created a buffer for this guy. I think simple print buffer. Okay, so basically it's going to do h 98 times. Okay, but I think they've maneuvered the value of h here. I don't want to go deep into that. Okay, which h then give them I think h give them a value ox48, right? So if you count this guy, it's going to print ox48 98 times. So this is 1, so we have 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this 10 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 times 9 is 90. 90 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 98. So basically that's how that works. So you then push. So let's go to the second task and see how that works. Alright, so I haven't done it. I've been busy like I used to. So I haven't done it. It's already deadline already. Let me reload the page just for you to see it that it's deadline. So like I always encourage everyone to take your time. Don't see the deadline. Just know that you will always pass even after deadline. You get. So take your time to study, to understand it. Okay, I think there's even another project out, right? So as you can see, the deadline is out already and it's asking for a new correction. All right, so let's go through the second one and see. So the first thing I'll do is I want to create this prototype. I haven't read the question yet, so let's just create this guy. So this guy will be in our main.h. So I'll vi my main.h, right? And then I'll put it in my header file. Alright, so we are good with that. And then I'll create it. Alright, so we are good with this. So the next thing is I want to create my one main.c. So I'll be in my one main.c. Alright, and then I'll copy whatever is there for one main.c, and this is it. I think I went too high. So I'll copy this guy, I'll paste it here. Alright, I hope I copied the right thing. I think so, because it looks so short than normal. Let me see. Okay, I think I did. Alright, so one main.c. What else? We don't want to push the executable file, and the executable file is just s. So I'll just vi into my .git done, and then I'll click on I to insert mode, and then I'll put my S, right? Escape X. Alright, so I've added that one. I think what do we have left is just to create the function, right? So the function name is one strd_up.c. So copy the function name, and then we can vi into it. Alright, so I've clicked enter, but it's still loading. Or am I the one that didn't click enter? I'll click enter twice. It's still loading. I don't know why. Anyway, let's go through this guy. Okay, so the question says that write a function that returns a pointer to the newly allocated space in memory. So we've been doing this before, right? So which contains a copy. Okay, so I'm coming. Sorry, please give me a minute. Okay, so which, let me check if this guy has worked. Okay, it just worked now. Let me try and insert something. Okay, it worked. Okay, this one worked. Let me just save and exit, and then we'll go back into it. Alright, good. It's still loading. Anyway, so let's use that one to kind of read the question, right? So the question says that we should write a function that returns to the newly allocated space in memory, which contain a copy of the string given as a parameter. So that new space will contain a copy of the string given as a parameter. So we are trying to copy a string to another location, right? So that's what we are doing. So we want to allocate a memory based on the string here. So we don't know what the string would be, and then we want to allocate memory for that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have to know how to write a function before you can allocate a memory. So we've done all the necessary things, and then we said this is the prototype. The strd_up function returns a pointer to a new string, which is a duplicate of the string str, right? So the memory for the new string is obtained with malloc. Okay, so the new string memory is obtained with malloc and can be freed with free. They said it can be freed, but they didn't specify that we should free it. Okay, so if you want to free, you just put free, and then in a close and open bracket you put your what's this guy called, the pointer name to it. So it should return null if string is equal to null, that is if your pointer fails. Okay, no, if this string is equal to null, right, it should return null. Okay, and then on success the string function returns a pointer to the duplicated string. Okay, yes, we know. If null, it returns null if insufficient memory was available. So it should return null as well if it fails, right? So let's go into it and do the coding. All right, so the best thing we want to do is we want to include, okay, this guy is loading again. That's why I saved it the other time, because I know that it can hang. All right, so since it looks like save it as hang, let me just reload the page. This is one of the disadvantage of using this guy. So cdlx low level, and then we do ox 0x0b, right? Yeah, good. So ls, so we are there. So if I do ls-a, you see that that guy has created this stupid file for us, so we have to remove it in order to be good. So I've removed that, and then we can vi into our one strp.c. Okay, so we include our main.h. Sorry, let me, please give me a second again. I'm trying to fix my typing stuff. Okay, so we include our main.h, and then we include our standard library. in order for our malloc function to work, because we didn't build a malloc function. Alright, stdlib dot age, sorry, dot age, yes, so standard library dot age. So then we'll create our declaration, and then I think the name is underscore strdb string dop, right? And then this one is 0 to return a pointer to a newly allocated space memory, also duplicate the string, the string it holds to the new space, right? That's what we're trying to do. And then it's going to collect one string, the initial input string, right? And then we'll have a return value pointer to the memory allocated, right? Which is an array of which is array of characters. So I'm just trying to break this down so you kind of have idea about it. So let me just recopy the prototype. So I'll copy this guy, I'll paste it here, and sorry, I have to remove this guy and this. So the first thing I want to do is I can create that my unsigned integer, which is I can use size t, right? Unsigned integer, and unsigned integer I, comma j. Alright, then I can do my pointer. Don't forget we have to have a pointer to where it is returning to. So string down st, let's do is strd up, strp down, right? Up and down is okay, right? So let's do out, right? So let's do out, strd out, right? So we end this, we put a space, right? So we'll do our if statement for this guy. He said that where is it? If our string is null, it should return null, right? So we'll just do if and then our statement. If our str is equal to null, right, it should what? You can put this one in braces and it should return null, right? And then we're done with that. Then we can give some space. Okay, so we're gonna do some stuff, a for loop, right? So then we'll say I, we have I and j, right? So I is unsigned int, we give it 0, okay, and then we want to iterate through, we want to get the string length of this guy, right? So we can use this, we've been doing this one before, so I'll just say I is this, sorry, I string, as long as this guy is not equal to null, right? Or yeah, not equal to null. I'm thinking if this I should be there or not. Well, I think it might be there. Okay, and then I plus plus. Okay, I think I plus plus. I think it should be there. So I plus plus will be saving the amount of what's it called, the amount of what's this thing called. Okay, we can just open bracket close bracket and nothing can be there. I'm just trying to use the right way method. Okay, so I can give space here. All right, so a while loop would have been nice. Okay, I think let me use a while loop here. All right, so wow, but if you're using a while loop, you have to put your I equals to 0 outside. Okay, for loop is nice as well. You can use a for loop. Okay, and then you have this one, and then your I plus plus can be here, and then you delete the one here. All right. Okay, good. So this I plus plus would hold the length of the string, right? So we'll know the length, so we can use the length to allocate memory, and then we can transfer whatever is inside string into the new place, right? So then we do our memory allocation here. So our is strd out, right? That's our pointer to the new place, and then we'll say is equal to, what are we giving it? We are giving it some a memory allocation, malloc, right? So we can say malloc and then open and close braces and then enter here. So what do we want to do? We want to do size of, right, the size of char, right, and then times what, I, right? We want to do it times I, but this one will get all, I will get all the lengths except the null, so we want to add the null, so we'll do +1. I can put this one in braces as well, right? So good. So we can also dereference it or leave it like this, okay, because we know malloc returns a void pointer, so we can dereference malloc by just opening and closing the parentheses here, and then just say char star, right? Okay, so you can do it like this, and you can remove the this guy, because this one is already pointing to a character you get, so any of these guys should work out. So once we are done, we go end, and then um, yes, so I think this is it. So we now have to transfer whatever is inside str, so we can use a for loop. But before that, remember, we want to know if this memory allocation is done successfully. So what we'll do is an if statement. So we'll say if our, so if it is not successful, this our guy here will be holding only a null character. It will not be pointing to different, it will be pointing to an address, but inside the address it will be null, right? So we'll now say if strd out is equal to null, right? So if it is equal to null, then we want to return null, right? So we want to return null, okay, good. So that's what we want to do here. And the next thing is, we'll say for this one is now transferring whatever is inside the old guy into the new memory that we've allocated, right? So we'll then say we can do that using the what's it called, the pointer, right? So since the pointer is holding it, okay, it can also be used to store the value, right? So we do that, we do this, and then at the end we want to return we want to return a what's this guy called? We want to return the pointer to that address, which is strd out, right? We want to return strd out. Okay, so what we'll do next is we then say, okay, as long as j is equal to 0, so we're using the j now, right? And then we want to go as long as that length, so as long as j is less than I, right? And then we'll do j plus plus, so j would keep increasing, right? So we'll come here and then say we want to transfer to strd out at index j. At index j, we want to transfer we want to transfer the contents of the old guy into this guy. So we then do str, and then I think this one will end with a semicolon, and then this one will be g. Sorry, this one will be j2, because at index 0 0, like that, right? So index 0 of this guy will be index 0 of this guy till the end. Okay, and let's see. So what about the null? Have we included the null? Let me see. I don't know. I think this guy should have added the null to it. I'm not sure. So in order to add null, you can just say this guy less than equal to. Okay, with this one will add one extra one, which will be the null character. Okay, so with this it should work. Alright, so let us Betty our stuff and then see if it is okay. So according to Betty, we are good, so it remains compilation time. So when we are compiling, what we do is sorry. Alright, so we copy the compilation code, which is wall pedantic where of extra. Alright, so we paste it, wall pedantic where of extra stdgm89, the file name, the main.c, the function, the output should be s. You press enter and it runs. So if I run the s, okay, alxxe. So if we look at it, we have alxxe. So it means that we are doing it right? So what we do is we clear it, we git add, we git commit, and then we say this one should copy string to the newly allocated space. Alright, okay, and then we git push. Okay, and then we are good. We can clear, and then let's test. Alright, so if we test now, we check our code, start a new test, and then that should be it. Okay, I think we are good. So since we are good, let's go on with the next task. So before that, let me just ask for a correction, and then we should have our mark immediately. Once it's done, okay, I think it's done, and yes, we have our mark. So let's go to the next one. Alright, so we're good, and we're good. So the next one, it says write a function that concatenates two strings. Okay, concatenation is just like adding two strings together, and I think we've done that before in the previous section. Okay, so a function Please hold on a second, guys. Someone is knocking. Okay, welcome, guys. I say welcome, guys. Welcome back, Abby, and welcome back. Anyway, where do we stop? I can't remember. I think we're just about to start this guy. Let me see. Okay. Okay, good. I think we're still about to start this one. So, concatenate to string. So, before we get into it, let's just dive into this guy. So, I'll copy this guy. I'll appear on my main.h. What's the time? Okay, I have less than 1 hour to finish because I'm going out. So, alright, so I have my main.h, and then the next thing is what is it? So my two main.c. I'll copy this guy. What's wrong with you? Okay, copy, and vi2 main.c. Alright, okay, so I'm done with that one. So the next thing I'm going to do now is if you look at this function now, you have Betty and no button, so it's going to bring both together, right? So that's what I want to do. Okay, so what else? So okay, the execution, let me put it in git ignore. So I think the output is at C. Oh, sorry. Alright, so then vi the name. So concatenate this to string. Then we include normal stuff. Include our main.h. We'll include, I have to be fast with this guy. We include our std library.h. Okay, so I don't know if I'm to include standard IO. I don't think we are, since you are printing out. But let me leave it like this for now. Alright, so we'll include it in case we get any error. So I think it's called string concatenate, right? Concat, and then it's to the main entry. It is to concatenate. I don't know if my spelling is correct. Concatenate to strings, right? And then we have our inputs, which is at s1 first string, and at s2 which is second string. Okay, and then we'll return the pointer to the concatenated string, right? So pointer to the concatenated string, which memory was allocated for. Right, and then we'll end it. Okay, so I think so far we're good. Let me copy the prototype. Alright, so s1 s2, okay, string concat, good. So the next thing we do is paste this guy, and then we get ready for work. What did I just press? like I used to do, I'll do my size t, size underscore t for my unsigned integer, right? So I'll give one I want I would probably get the length of these two, right? Add them together and then transfer what is here to the new pointer and just want to the new pointer. So that's what I want to do. So what I'll do is I will do the length of 1, right? Okay, and then I'll initialize it to be 0, right? And also the length of the 2 also 0, and then I'll end it. So our pointer is going to be pointing to a character, so we'll do char is pointing to a character, and then we can call it a pointer, right? So we can also have another pointer which will serve as our temporary pointer. We'll use it to hold some string. Okay, so let me call that pointer temporary. All right, so I think we're good. Okay, so sorry, I have a message. Okay, don't worry, let me just continue. All right, so what I want to do now is I'll say the pointer. Okay, let me see, what should I do here? I want to find the string length, so we can use our while loop, or we can use our our for loop. So I'll find the length of this guy and this guy. So I'll just say, let me use our for loop, right? For okay, s for what should we use here? Sorry guys. Okay guys, so yeah, so because we'll use our for loop, I would initialize another guys here, right? And then instead of doing this, let me just use our unsigned int. Okay, I can do it this way. Let me use pointer that will return the value, and then unsigned int, so I'll use 1 to save I to iterate for the first length. I'll use J for the second length, and then I might need some K for a for loop to add up all the strings together, and then the temporary I can use this guy and just call it limit. Alright, so I think this one should work. I was thinking something else. There are so many methods, so I think this method will be simpler. Alright, so I'm just looking at the sketch I made here, and I'm trying to figure out which one I should use. So I think this one will explain better. Alright, I hope there are not two spaces here. Okay, I think they are, right? No, there are not two spaces. Alright, so we use we want to do so many things here. So we have some statement, and I said that if null is passed, treat it as an empty string. So if this guy is null and if this guy is null, we should treat it as an empty string, right? Okay, if the function should return null or previous, so when we allocate our function, we should check, right? And then the return pointer should point to a new, we know that one. Okay, yes, we know this one. So good. So what we do is we say let's first check if the characters are with something. So we'll say if, right, if our S1 is equal to null, right? We could use this for a null, or we could use this for a null. Okay, so if our S1 is null, then what should we do? Then we can say we should make S1 we should assign we should treat it as a what's it called, empty string. So it is empty, so empty string. You should treat it as an empty string. You should just assume that it's just a string that is empty. Alright, so and then we should do for if S2. I can use for here and say if S1 is or if S2 is, but let me just do it here. So you can do that and try it out if it works. Let me know if it works on the comment section. Okay, so I will know it works, because I don't want to be doing try and error and then the time will be too long. So if S2 is equal to null as well, right? We should treat it as an empty string. So our S2 should have empty string. Good. I think we're good. This. Okay, so these ones are just basic. We've not started, right? So the main work we'll soon get there. So we'll get the string lengths, like I said, for this guy and this guy. So we'll use these guys to save them. Alright, so I will stand for the string length of S1 and G. We can just change this name in order for us to get used to it. Okay, so I'll do this one as length 1, and then this one as length 2. Okay, so basically that's it. And then I think let me give this guy here. So we'll do a for loop or a while loop. So I can say len, if I'm using while loop, len1 is equal to, we'll assign 0 to it, right? So we'll say while, and then this, and then the block of code. Okay, and then we'll say len1 plus plus. Okay, so we'll say while our S1 at index length 1, that's which is 0, is not equal to null, you should keep increasing length 1. So it's not equal to null. Yeah, I think we're good this way. So we'll do it for the second one as well to get the string length. So we'll say len2 is equal to 0, and then we'll use our while loop and say while our S2 len2, len2 is not equal to null, then we'll use len2 plus plus, right? And then press enter. Alright, good. So we'll do this. What else? Then we'll press enter, and then what should we do next? So we've done this. So we've gotten the string lengths for those guys. So the thing is, we want to allocate a memory for the new pointer. And what is the new called? We call it PTR, right? So we call it PTR, right? So I can just come here and PTR. I think I will have some empty strings here, yes, and here as well. Okay, I have no empty strings here. So PTR, I'm going to say then is equals to that's me, right? So I can just say malloc, and then I want to allocate memory for characters, right? So I'll just say size of character times s1 plus s2, right? That's the length 1 plus length 2, length of 1 plus length of 2, then we can plus 1 to allocate for the null, right? And then we can put that one in brackets. Okay, so it's going to sum up this guy and then times it with this guy. Alright, because we don't want it to times this guy and then add this guy. Alright, so if you use BODMAS of division, multiplication, okay, addition, bracket comes before any other thing, so the bracket will make it come first because multiplication comes before addition, right? So what are we doing here? So we want to check if the null was, if the memory allocation was successful, right? So we can give a space here, so we use our if, and then to know if it is successful, we'll check if pointer is null, right? If our pointer is equal to null, then it is not successful, right? Then we should just return a null, right? I think that's what we've been doing since. We should return a null. Okay, there's one function we could do. We could also free up the space. We could free up the pointer space. So this is how you use free. Just do this and ATR, right? So I don't know if this one is told, if we are told to do this. So I'm not sure, so you can try without putting this free and let me know if it works, but I think this should work for this one. So if it doesn't, we'll remove the free, but I don't think it's necessary, right? It's still the same thing. Just free up the space, and I don't think it has a very great impact, okay, on this particular task, okay. So yeah, so the next thing we want to do is then we'll iterate through our for loop, right? Okay, so we use a for loop and then iterate through and see. So for this one we're going to use 2 for loops, right? That's why I declared k and 1 more limit, right? So I could use limit and I could use something else. So I'm going to use, instead of limits, let me just call this one IGKL length 1G. Oh, not even use, so instead of k, let me just use I and j, I comma j, right? ij, I think we've not used ij since, right? So it's a very, ij is just common, there's nothing special about it. For so we say I is equals to 0, right? As long as I is less than len 1, right? So as long as I is less than len 1, you should I plus plus, I plus plus, right? And then we'll go through this guy and then we'll say you should give what is it called, to pointer at index 1, at index 0, pointer at index 0, which is I, right? Then what should be given to it? S at index 0 as well, at index I. So as this one is increasing, it's passing the value to this guy, right? So at the end of the first string, right, you should then we should go to the next one, right, which is j. So at the end we're going to have a for loop for j, right? And then we'll say j is equals to 0, right? and then j is less than len 2. So because we want to pass in the value of the null, so we can say it's less than equal to len 2 for the last one, right? And then we'll say j plus plus, right? Then we'll come here and then say as long as, so we'll keep this pointer at index 0. Okay, remember that this guy should be having, so wait, should it be at index 0? At index I, because our I, yes, at index I. So this one, our I is holding probably 9 in now, right? So it will continue to 10, right? And then we are going to increment the value of what's it called? We increment the value of this. I think we need to increment the value of I. I'm not sure. Okay. So here it is being incremented, and here it should be incremented. So we want to pass the value of S2 at index 0, which is at index J, right? So this one is correct. So I think I plus plus as well. So this for I plus plus, I'm not sure yet. Alright, yeah. And then it should, at the end, it should return a pointer to the initial stuff, right? So let me remove this guy and let's see. So we have so many things to remove. This guy and this guy in case it doesn't work. Okay, so alright, so let's bet in 2. Okay, more than 14 lines in a function. In how many lines do we then have? Let me see. We have a trailing white space at number 26. Okay, and then let's see how many lines. Set number. Okay. 26. That one is very important. Okay, so let's first do. Okay, so for now it's just more than 40 lines, 54 in a function, 54 to 57. Let me see. Why 54 to 57 though? Why? Alright. Okay, I think it counted from here. So 12 to 58 should be 40 something, right? Yeah, I think that's why. So if we are to reduce this guy, where should we reduce it? We can reduce this statement. So we have 4 lines, right? So I can cut through this guy. Let me cut this guy. Let me see if this one will work. 1, 2. I'm not sure, but I think it should be able to work. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try that. Let's see. Okay, we are good. Alright, so let's compile and see. Okay, so the output should be C. Let's see if that works. I'm afraid. Okay, yeah, this guy should be S2, not S, right? So let's go into this guy. Should be S2. Okay, this one should be S1. Alright. So let's recompile. Okay, it worked, and let's see C. Oh, sorry, /C. Petty Oberton. Let's see. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's just see if it works. Okay, let's git add, and let's git commit. Right, and then this one is concatenate two strings to a new string which space was allocated with malloc, and then we git push, and then we clear it. Alright, so let's try it. I'm very sure we might have some errors. So if we have any error, we'll go back to that guy and solve it out. Oh, it worked. Yay! I'm so happy, I'm so excited. Alright, so let's go to the next one. So it's getting tougher by the day. Tougher. Alright, so this one, what I'm going to do is, let's get into it. Alright, sorry, I don't have time. Time is going. I think I have to wait. I have to leave now. So I'll have to come back because I have a program by 4 and I can't waste the time. So let me just stop somewhere meaningful. So I'll vi my main dot h and paste this guy. So I need to go pay it and stuff. Alright, so I'll continue once I'm back. It's gonna be a hectic day. So continue from number 3, and I think we have 3 to 3, 4, 5, 6. So we still have 4 more to finish this guy. Alright, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so once I'm back, I'm going to continue. See ya.